Welcome back, baseball fans, to this eliminating the New York Yankees video. In stunning fashion, winners of the American League East for the first time in the last 3 years would face in the wild card round the Orioles, defending world champions, and they shut them out 1-0 in the Bronx, wasting a brilliant performance by Ron Guidry in the process. This is the season 19-13, 2.99 ERA, 9 saves. Righetti's good in the pen. Tidrow good setup. John was great. Guidry was great. Sorensen was even good. Even Ed Figueroa wasn't that bad. Terry Leach and Dave Ford, they're just the least used pitchers. I bring up the pitching because it's really what carried the team. That and Reggie. Reggie Jackson, 311, 18 homers and 39 RBI in 32 games. Pacing the club, could not get MVP credentials. That was given to George Brett. Other performances, you had Nettles and Spencer. Roy White had a nice little year there. Frank Tavares did okay at shortstop. But at the very bottom there, some bunch of guys under the Mendoza line. And yeah, it was not a good year offensively for the Yankees. And they have wasted rosters from the 76, 77, and 78 season now. This 78 players will be gone. And then moving forward, you've got the 80 and 81 Yankee squads, but 79 and 82 aren't particularly good moving forward. So, what a waste for the Yankees. Kind of embarrassing. Baltimore and Boston are chuckling. They have World Series credentials the last 2 years. Baltimore is still alive, looking for another one. So let's take a look now at the New York Yankee stack. They're going to have to get rid of 8 of their 78 players. 8 guys who got a ring, including that guy. And we'll pull out all 8 of the 78 players and see who's coming and going for this team. And I said in an earlier video, in the the Summer League, which is the early 70s, the Bobby Mercer era, they didn't do anything. That Yankee team did. But they seemed to play better, if that makes any sense. And I'd put that early 70s Yankee team up against these late 70 Yankee teams based on Strat-O-Matic cards. Is this 8 of them? Oh my goodness. You see some cornerstone Yankees in here. And some free agents. Tough decisions to make moving forward. But these are your Yankees for next year. All right, they're going to have 7 hitters and 5 pitchers. So Thurman Munson, the way this works is the tragedy of 1979, the tragedy of Thurman Munson. Well, the good news is, in a 4-year carryover league, he can play 1 more year in the 79-82 season before we have to retire his card. So how about that? That's the silver lining when you have a tragedy in baseball, that you can actually use that card longer. And Spencer will be playing first. This is like a utility guy, Spillman, left-handed good DH type for the American League. Billy Smith at second. And then in the outfield, you got, you really like Reggie to be a DH, not a right fielder. Bill North was brought in. And the pitching, what they're going to do is, they used Righetti in the bullpen as a closer, and it was a starter 7 because they had John and Guidry. And they're going to still do that. They're going to continue with that method. Because Guidry's going to come. Guidry's going to come back with a different year. So they only have John right now. They need to have Guidry and a couple more starting pitchers. 7 hitters, 5 pitchers for the New York Yankees. So let's take a look and see, what do the Yankees do with those 8 players from that 1978 World Championship team? Okay, baseball fans, let's see what the Yankees do with these 8 1978 cards. Not all of these guys actually played for the Yankees. Beginning with Mick Kelleher, who did not, but he is a good defensive shortstop, and he played 10 years in baseball. Moved around, fun little utility player. Had some interesting cards along the way. 78, he was a 2-18 at shortstop. It'll pretty much get you into the league every time. Be a 2 at short, you'll get some work. So this guy will go on waivers, obviously. He's just a utility player, and he's over 30 now. And does he qualify for waivers in 79? You have to qualify. You have to have a Strat-O-Matic card in the following season, which is 1979. So we're going to go look and see if the Cubs 79 Kelleher exists. We'll go to Gary's roster page, superds.tripod.com. This is an excellent resource for rosters. And we're going to look at the 79 Cubs and see if he is indeed has a Strat-O-Matic card. And he does. It's right there. It's an infielder for the Cubs. So we can put Kelleher on waivers. It's always better to put a player on waivers versus retirement. If a guy is really bad, you can move him from waivers to retirement, but you can't do it the other way. Next guy is Greg Nettles. He'll stick around. Greg Nettles, 67-88. Nice long career with the Yankees and the Padres, and who else? No, started with Minnesota and Cleveland. Actually played for the Braves and Expos at the end at age 43. Look at that. He's still all-star for the Yankees in 79 and 80. His power starts to go down a little bit. He's no longer an 800 OPS guy. But if he's still a Gold Glover, I would take any year that he's a 1, even with his numbers going down. He doesn't become a Padre till 84. So he's pretty much a lifetime Yankee for the timeline I play. So let's just put him there. It's a keeper. Next up, Lou Piniella. His place on this team has been always peculiar. Piniella. Always do that. There we are. And that he's a good hitter. You know, it's like good batting average, but and there they are. The years of 77 and 78 or no more. And now he goes into, well, all the way through 82, he's still hitting 307 for the Yankees. Look at that, 297 through 307 as a New York Yankee between the ages of 35 and 38. Good for Lou. It's just that, you know, you don't see the gaudy home runs or, you know. But yeah, he'll be a Yankee. They'll keep him around. Mostly for historical reasons, I guess. I kind of like to keep history going when I can. Next player is Frank Taveras. I guess you can call it an experiment. They wanted to get a speedy shortstop, and the Pirates didn't want this guy anymore. And the Pirates are the #1 seed of the National League, so I guess it worked out for them. It's an E right here, isn't it? There he is. So Taveras, 78 card. There it is. It's pretty good. 46 stolen bases at 278. 79 and 80. He's got a nice 80 card with the Mets, crosstown rival. 79. Well, he's got 164 games with the Pirates and Mets, so I guess he's got a card. He's got a card. You could put him on waivers, or you could keep him and trade him. Let's do that for the moment. Let's go under the premise that we don't have enough guys, and then he'll be the first guy off the life raft if they have too many. So right now he's tentatively a keeper, which takes us to Roy White, and we might be at the end of Roy White here. We're very close. He's got a very bad year in one of these. So, yeah, that's the year. You don't want that year. So this Yankee year in 79 is awful, really. This card, I've seen it. It's not very good. So you really would prefer to retire the guy, but because his card exists, you can waive him. And that's what they'll do. They'll waive Roy White. Now the pitching. And oh boy, we're going to start with Ron Guidry, who's a keeper. I loved Guidry, man. When you look at his performances, how they were staggered, it's quite fascinating. You had 78, you had 81 and 83. They were all fantastic in their own, you know. So there's 78. 79 leads the league in ERA. Forgot all about that year. Look at that. But 81, this strike year, he's very dominant. Leads the league in WHIP. And then 2 years later in 83 and then 85, look, he's a 21 game winner in 83. And then 85 is like every other year. 82 and 84, not so much. And 80, the even numbered years. Brett Saberhagen was like that. Every other year for Brett Saberhagen seemed to be good. What a fun, cool career for Ron Guidry. He just ran out of gas at age 35. What a shame that is. And is not in the Hall of Fame because of that. Just could not finish off a brilliant career. Cy Young, 4-time All-Star. 5-time Gold Glove winner. A lot to like about Ron Guidry. So, we have our choice of the 79 card, the 81 card next year. One of those two cards. And then in 2 years, they'll bump it up to that 83 card. So, yeah, good news for Ron Guidry. He'll play in all of my future carryover leagues for the Yankees. Next up, Easy Ed Figueroa. How much life does he have left in the tank? I think he might have one more decent year. And then he turns into a pumpkin. Let's go check it out. Does he have 79? So he has 79. He's not quite a pumpkin. He's like a gourd. No, I don't know if that's the right fruit. He's not a pumpkin. What is he? He's like a plantain. No, that's not it either. He's almost like a pumpkin. He's getting close. He's got a 4.13 ERA and a 1.37 WHIP. That'll get you into the league pretty much as a righty, a starter, but not a particularly good one. And then in 1980, oh yeah, that's pumpkin right there. Yeah, that's definitely the wrong side of Cinderella. That's 3-10 with a 6.54 ERA and a 1.92 WHIP in 80. And then in 81, he tries, it doesn't work out. So he's got one more good year. You can keep him, you can waive him. Let's keep him because that year exists, but it's got to be 79. That's one of the problems on these keepers. Sometimes you're locked into 1 year, and sometimes you prefer other guys in that year. So I'm making a note that he's really locked into 79. Guidry's not as locked in. We have a couple choices with them, 79 and 81. And Nettles and Pennell doesn't matter too much. They are pretty consistent. Our last guy is Larry Sorensen. How many Larrys spell their name with just one R? Well, for a first name, he's the only one. So he would be a Brewer and a Cardinal. He was part of that Ted Simmons trade, and the Indians, and the A's, and the Cubs. Boy, this guy screams expansion team. You know, this guy wants to play on one of those expansion teams in my league. So, that All-Star appearance in 78, the Yankees hornswoggled him away from Milwaukee because Milwaukee had too many right-handed starters. They couldn't keep him. And then after that, he's still good. He's got a nice 79 card. Nice 80 card. 81 in a strike year. That's a good card in 81 in a strike year. That's nice. So he's going to keep chugging right along. I think he's a keeper too, but I'm also going to use the caveat of trade here. And I think that's what the Yankees are going to have to do. They're going to have to make some trades to get past Baltimore and Boston. And they have the ammunition. They have 6 guys they want to keep, right? So I'm thinking they're going to keep the pristine Yankees. Nettles, Piniella, Guidry, Figueroa. And the other guys, Tavares and Sorensen, can be had in a trade. And how do you trade? You basically add one of your carry-on guys that you want to find a better player at that position. In this particular case, you've got 79 Bill North on your roster. So you would trade Bill North and Tavares, or Bill North and Sorensen, and get a better outfielder or a better different position. You got Billy Smith playing second base. So you take Billy Smith and Tavares and Sorensen and get a better second baseman. That makes a lot of sense. I think they'll hold on to Jim Spencer. And pitching, you could trade Terry Leach, who was a Met, Dave Ford was an Oriole. Trade those guys. So yeah, that's how you improve your team. Because the downside is, if nobody wants Frank Tavares or Larry Sorensen in a trade, you're gonna have to put them on waivers. And when you do that, you don't get anything for them. You get nothing. And they're just in the waiver pool. The waiver pool would be 4. And then you could kick Kelleher and White into retirement or trade those guys to a retired team. But you don't get any value out of it. So the Yankees have value. They definitely have value right now. And they're still in a World Series window with a 80 103 win ball club and a 1981 World Series runner-up team coming up. That's it tonight. Eliminating the New York Yankees. Thanks for checking this video out, folks. We'll see you next time.